Pearson or Kikuchi? That's right, Blue Jays fans. We're going to be talking about pitching, and it's not a bad thing this year that we're talking about pitching. We're just trying to figure out who is going to be that fifth starter in a dominant rotation already that is filled with the likes of Manoah, Gosman, Barrios, and newly signed Bassett, who arguably all four of those guys should win us 65-75% of our games. Now, we got to talk about this fifth starter because that's going to be the key to where we end up in the postseason. Yes, I'm already saying that we're going to the postseason. With the team we have now, the pitching we have now, there's no reason why this Blue Jays team cannot make the postseason. But before we get started, if you guys so kindly wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, if you're new to the channel, we are, I believe, 40 away from our goal of 4,000. We do anything MLB on Clemhawks, and pretty soon I'll get Gillis TV up and running for hockey stuff here. Now, we did get a comment, a few days ago when we were talking about the Blue Jays and what this fifth starter kind of meant in the whole Blue Jays video that we did. And someone mentioned that Ryu will be back June, July-ish. If possible, he could be the fifth starter. As much as that sounds, he's been on the shelf for a while. I do not believe he will be up and coming as a starter. They might ease him into that starter for maybe mid-August, early September area. Sorry. But I don't see that happening, and we got to think about now. What is now? And that's why I say Kikuchi or Nate Pearson. Kikuchi last season, he came in with this high praise to be the fifth starter, a lefty in our rotation that, we could throw out there. It didn't turn out the way that the Blue Jays or Kikuchi wanted. I'm not saying he won't have a rebound season, but at the same time, those numbers were really terrible as a starter. He did find his way, sort of, in the bullpen to bring those numbers down. So we'll talk about him first. And for the season last year, he got into 32 games. He went 6-7 with a 5.19 ERA in 102 thirds innings pitched with 124 strikeouts. He was getting a lot of people to fan on his stuff, being a lefty versus a righty. There was some disguise in his pitches, which, was really nice to see. But it was when he got into that, third rotation lineup is when Kikuchi kind of just fell off. And I don't know if the batters picked something up after the first two rotations around the lineup, but there was something about that third time around the batting order that Kikuchi he couldn't do it. It was some kind of simple thing that the other team was picking up. And he was dominant in the one or two rotations through the lineup before that. And we seen that in the bullpen where, it wasn't the greatest bullpen experience, but he actually worked on some stuff as well. Also, the home runs were terrible last year for Kikuchi. He got lit up like a Christmas tree when it came to home runs. Yes, he struck all those guys out, but the home runs were, you gotta think, hey, we gotta have this guy in the bullpen. He has to figure his stuff out. And, nothing against Kikuchi or anything, but when it came to last season, he had his ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. There were some incredible outings, and there was some incredible disappointing. We don't ever want to see that again from Kikuchi. And over the course of his career, he's played in 102 games, going 21-31 with a 5.02 ERA and 466 and 1/3 innings pitched with 450 strikeouts. Well, strikeouts were up last year compared to his average, as we could see that. But, he's 21-31, and that 5.02 career ERA is kind of scary. Yes, that got bumped up by the 5.19 last season. But we need that guy. We need Kikuchi, if he is going to be the fifth starter, to just lay back, throw what he does. And if, same things happen this season where third time around the order comes up and Kikuchi gets lit up like a Christmas tree again, have Kikuchi as that starter where it's a bullpen day where he can go, say, 4 innings, 5 innings, and then the rest of the bullpen takes over for that day. We could do it that way, but that's burning a lot of resources if he is the 5th starter. Now, let's move on to the highly prominent, pitcher that we had high hopes for, and he is 26. Hopefully he gets to where he needs to be, and that's Nate Pearson, who could throw a 102-mile-an-hour fastball, but the command is not always there. In his career postseason, he's played in 1 game, pitched 2 innings with 5 strikeouts. His career regular season, he's played in 17 games for the Jays, going 2-1 with a 5.18 ERA and 33 innings with 36 strikeouts. The guy can strike out. He was like the Manoah before we got Alek Manoah to come up and pitch for us. If he can learn a thing or two from Alek Manoah on how to throw that heavy heater while keeping the command, Nate Pearson realistically could be our 5th starter going into this year until if they trade for someone, sign someone, so on and so forth. Anyway, we'll stick on the Nate Pearson side of things, where I believe Nate Pearson needs that real shot at the MLB. In 17 games, he hasn't really gotten that shot. Most of it has been bullpen. Get him out there as a starter, even if it's in preseason, in spring training. Sorry, preseason's hockey terms, spring training MLB. That's right. Even if it's in spring training, get him out there every 5 games. See what he can do. Yes, barring the other team will have, non-roster players on their spring training lineup trying to crack their roster. But that way you can kind of gauge on where Nate Pearson is. Because he was one of your top prospects back in the day. He was that guy that, hey, we got this stellar pitcher who could throw heat. He's going to be one of our top starters. Just hasn't worked out that way. So in this case, get Nate Pearson into those spring training games and see what he could do. Have him throw, of course, don't have him throw 7 innings straight out of the bat. But hey, have him throw 4 innings, 5 innings, kind of progress to when you're about 2 weeks left of spring training. He's out there throwing 7 innings if he's not getting lit up like a Christmas tree. Have him out there, see what you could work on. Because I believe Nate Pearson could actually pass Kikuchi for this the 5th spot. Of course, you can always use your 5th, like I said, as a bullpen day. But I don't believe that's going to happen with the Jays. Not this early on. Maybe later down in the, August, September area where, okay, the Jays are pretty much guaranteed postseason. Let's rest our starters, go from there. Nate Pearson in the minors is an 8-9 record when it comes to starting, with a 2.71 ERA with 59 games, 41 games started. So he has 2 holds, so he does pitch out of the bullpen a bit. He has 169 and 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 104 hits, 52 runs, 51 earned runs, and 15 home runs. Like I said, the command on Nate Pearson is probably something that the Blue Jays should keep an eye on. But do that spring training thing with him and Kikuchi. See who outduels who. Friendly competition is not always bad. It is a good thing to have on your team. Now with Ryu, yes, you could probably throw him in there when he gets back. But at the same time, you're going to have to wait a little bit for Ryu to actually be that guy who will be the 5th starter. Because after being on the shelf for, 1.5 years, 2 years almost, he's probably not fully actually there yet. He could be a bullpen arm for sure, just when he comes back, transition into a starter. But hey, this is Gillis TV here on Clemox, and like I said, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll talk to you guys later on today. Have a good one.